Kyle and I had all these hopes and dreams for Samuel, even before he was born, of what he would do, what sports he would play, and that sort of thing. And when we noticed that something was wrong with Samuel, when we noticed that he wasn't meeting those milestones that typically developing children meet, it was a very heartbreaking experience. All your hopes and dreams for this child of what they might be, all of a sudden were changed, and we felt like the rug was ripped out from underneath us. We were searching all over, trying to find Samuel the type of therapy that he needed, and we found ABC of North Carolina in Winston-Salem. When we walked into the lobby of ABC of North Carolina, that instant relief of knowing that this was where God was leading us, that this was where Samuel could finally get the type of help that he so desperately needed. We want other families to feel that relief, to know that when they walk through the doors of ACEs for Autism, that they are there and they can finally get the help that their child needs.
ACEs for Autism is much more than just providing a therapy for children with autism. It's a ministry. It's here to impact not only the children, but the families, the parents, the grandparents, the siblings that are affected by autism. Autism doesn't just affect that child that has autism, it affects the family as a whole. And instead of a mom or dad, going to a pill, going to a bottle, doing other things to cope with their child with autism, we want to show them the love of God, show them that God made their child different than many children, but God made them perfect in His image. We want to show those families that if they need help, they can get it through ACEs. The exciting part, ACEs for Autism is already starting to serve families. Jessica Garcia was hired in April, and in June she started seeing her first handful of families, and it's just really been amazing the response we've gotten from them, from the little bit of time so far that Jessica's worked with them, and how she's helped their families.
When he first got diagnosed, we were emotional, up and down, afraid, crying, nervous, in denial. He started having more aggression towards himself and towards others, more destructive behaviors. He's put holes in the floors, holes in the walls, ripped cabinets, ripped his bedroom door off. He was attacking me, and we had to hospitalize him. He got to the point where I couldn't find anybody who was willing to babysit him anymore. So I had to make the decision with my husband to stop working. Dealing with autism 24/7 is very tiring, very mentally tiring, very emotional. There are days when I just feel like crying because I feel like I just can't take any more. Since Logan has been coming to ACEs for Autism and working with Jessica, he is having less meltdowns. They're less severe. He's not attacking us anymore. He's actually talking more, and we've seen a big improvement. He loves coming and working with Jess. They get along really good, and she's really patient and understanding. I've always thought that if we would have been able to get him more help sooner, that he might not be as severe as what he is, that he might have been able to get help and get better.
We noticed very shortly after he was born, maybe 2 weeks old, that something wasn't quite right. He wasn't making eye contact, just didn't seem interested the way other kids did. Josh's behaviors took a pretty traumatic turn for the worse. It got so bad that we were unable to keep people to come as staff to assist us. He was literally just beating them up. He was beating us up. It got to a point where school just couldn't handle him anymore. We were extremely desperate for any kind of help. The MCO found ACEs for Autism, found Jess. The biggest help that we have seen has been just with her being willing to not just do the ABA, but to also instruct us.
Prior, we had very little instruction on what to do. I don't think an autistic child doesn't come with instruction. For Jess to come in here and look at us and do a really objective assessment and say, what you've been doing was probably not the best thing, you need to do this. For the longest time we had to fight to get innovations, and that was a great start, but then we found ACEs and Jess, and that gave us probably more hope than anything else we've gotten in the past couple years, and so we've been very, very grateful for that.
Here recently, Jessica went into Samuel's kindergarten classroom and was wanting to talk with the kids in the classroom about why Samuel is the way he is, why he is a little bit different, and how they can help. After Jessica went to talk to Samuel's class, a little boy wanted to sit down with him and wanted to read with him. And it was so exciting to see that that little boy reached out to Samuel. And it's all because Jessica wanted to advocate for Samuel and wanted to go in and talk with his class so that they could better understand him.
One thing that I would say across the board for kids with autism is that there's so much inside of them, there's so much potential inside that often gets either put on the back burner or diminished. People don't think that they're capable of a lot, and I've seen in the last couple weeks working with these kids is that they have so much potential, and working through ABA and then just the consistency and a caring relationship, you can unlock that potential.
What's been so awesome for Bobby and I over the last couple months is seeing Jessica work with these children in Eastern North Carolina and seeing them improve and see their parents experience that same joy that Bobby and I have the last couple of years, seeing Samuel improve. And we've came a long way, but we've got a long way to go, and we need your help. We need your help so families can see their child reach their full potential, and we can have other families experience that same joy.
And not only just for the families that we're serving right now, but for the families that a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, walk into the doctor's office and get that diagnosis of autism and don't know where to turn, that they'll think of ACEs, and they'll find that hope to get their child the help that they need.
Having an Autism Child Development Center in Eastern North Carolina would be a crown jewel in our efforts beyond early identification to serve children and families. It will allow certain kinds of therapy which are limited in terms of availability, limited by cost and insurance coverage, limited by providers. It would allow us to really focus treatment efforts for younger children, the younger the better, but also for older children as well.
I'm looking forward to the future here with ACEs for Autism because it's got the potential to be this great thing here for not only for Greenville, for Eastern Carolina. In our perfect vision, we would have the center, we would be the hub of the Eastern Carolina area where people can come to us, not just for ABA, but for other services and other resources. We want to be that mecca for education, for advocacy, for any resources that these families affected by autism need.
ACEs is that beacon of hope in Eastern North Carolina for children and families affected by autism.